If you're avoiding deadlifts in your program because you're scared of doing them wrong, then this video is for you. Deadlifts are potentially the most beneficial exercise when it comes to things like improving whole body strength, increasing bone density, building muscle mass, improving hormone balance, and most importantly, the real world transfer to being able to pick up heavy things. Here's the thing. When most coaches teach someone the deadlift for the first time, they go straight in for the conventional deadlift, which is a little bit like trying to learn how to drive during an F1 race. But if we break the movement down into smaller pieces, we get to learn a little bit more based on feel rather than trying to memorize 12 different coaching cues. So the first movement we want to start with is the hip hinge. And all we're going to do with soft knees, hands on top of our thighs, is reach our bum as far back as we can until we feel a little stretch in the hamstrings and come back up. And we're just going to repeat this until we can consistently find the stretch in that hamstring. Now, if you find you have an issue trying to maintain a straight back during this position, we might use something like a PVC pipe just to pop along our spine to do the exact same thing. And the moment we start to round, we're going to feel that PVC pipe leave the back. Now, if you find even that impossible, one thing I tend to bring out is a single leg Romanian deadlift. So the only difference here is still soft bent knees, pole out as a bit of balance, and then I'm going to reach one leg as far back as I can until, again, I can feel the stretch in that supporting hamstring. The reason I like this for those that really can't get that hip hinge in the first place is you force the hip to move by raising this rear leg. This can only go as far as the pelvis can move. So for many people, it traps them into actually hinging at the hip as opposed to bending from the spine. Once you've got that hinging motion down, all you're going to do to progress it is to turn it into a Romanian deadlift. So we're literally going to take this pole from our back into our hands out in front, and we're going to do the exact same hinge. And I can take this from a basic PVC pipe to a barbell to as much weight as I really want to do. Because you can incrementally load this just like you would the deadlift, you could get a lot, if not all of the benefits from this movement alone. But if you do want to progress it to the conventional deadlift, then you're going to want to move to the next step. And that is to turn your hinging pattern into an easier deadlift variation. Now, what's accessible for most people is a kettlebell. So we'll do a kettlebell deadlift. Now, to get into this, all I'm going to do is start off with that hip hinge until my palms get to roughly knee height. I'm going to start to reach my hands for the kettlebell, and then I'm just going to slowly lower my whole body down. So I'm letting my knees travel forward until I can grab that kettlebell, and then I'm going to push the floor away and stand tall. Coming back down is exactly the same thing. I'm going to go into my hinge until my hands get to roughly knee height, and then lower the whole body down. Drive the floor away. Now, if you're lucky enough to have access to a trap bar, this is another great easy deadlift variation that's super progressible long term. And the technique's pretty much exactly the same as the kettlebell deadlift. Only main difference is my feet are inside and my hands are outside, as opposed to the other way around. So all I'm going to do is send my hips back into that hinge motion until my palms can get to my knees. And then I'm going to reach for the handles and slowly lower my whole body down until I can grab on. From there, I'm just going to push the floor down, stand tall, and reverse the position. Bum goes back until hands get to roughly knee height, and then lower the whole body. Now, if you're nailing that easy deadlift variation, then you're ready for the final step. The conventional deadlift is almost exactly the same as the kettlebell or trap bar deadlift. It's just a little less forgiving on time. The reason for that is with the kettlebell and trap bar, it doesn't need to go past your knees because it's on the outside or inside. Whereas with this barbell, we one, don't want to be scraping our knees, and two, we don't want to be traveling around them. So to keep it simple, all we're going to do is, again, get into our hinging motion till our hands get to roughly knee height. We're going to slowly stoop our whole body down to grab that barbell, trying to keep it over our shoelaces. And then again, from here, I'm just going to push the floor down and stand tall. And then to come back down, I'm going to slowly lower the bar just past my kneecaps and then stoop my whole body down until I can reach the ground. Now, here are two simple pro tips to make this run a little smoother. One is aim not to pause in the bottom. The reason is, for most people, when they're new to deadlifting and they stop in the bottom, they change their position. Whereas if you're slow control down and tap to come straight back up, 9 times out of 10, you'll end up in the right position. And the second one is, when you're taking the bar off of the ground, it's important to think about pushing the floor away with your legs. It seems like a small difference, but trust me, it keeps it simple in your mind and it corrects 90% of faults. And that's it. If you found this helpful, please do like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to keep watching, our YouTube overlords think you'll love this next video. See you in the next one.